This is your common fig. Kind of crunchy. Now, a lot of people have expressed concerns about that crunch coming from the wasps that pollinate them. But this should make you feel better. The fig completely digests the wasp and liquefies it, so there's no way that you're crunching on a wasp. What? The wasp being liquefied doesn't comfort you? Well, how about this? I promise you that the fig that I just ate was not wasp pollinated, and chances are you've never had a wasp pollinated one either. The most common grocery store figs are the black mission and brown turkey figs, and these are both self-pollinating, meaning you don't need a male and female mission fig, and you don't need a go-between pollinator like a wasp to produce fruit. Now, I said fruit, but that's technically incorrect. The part you eat is actually called a synconium, which is a tiny group of inverted flowers growing inside a pod, and inside the pod are hundreds of little flowers, and each flower produces a seed, and that seed is the technical fruit. But if it's just the same to you, I'm going to eat the whole thing. Now, this will surprise the casual viewer, but there are more than 700 varieties of named figs. We sell 30 different varieties at wellspringgardens.com, but if a fig aficionado is watching, I want to turn you on to my friend Danny's website, figbid.com. Hey Danny, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Donovan? How are you?
Doing good. How many fig varieties are listed on your site, figbid.com?
Maybe close to 200.
Any rare varieties?
There's more rare varieties that pass through Figbid. It's unbelievable.
Why are figs so important to you?
My family grew up, extended family, in one building, in a household. My great-grandfather had brought a fig tree over from Bari in Italy. I always had to stay in the backyard. I was, I think, 4 years younger than everybody else. So if anybody grew up in that kind of setting, they'll understand. Everybody can go out and play in the street, and the little ones got to stay in the back. Well, I was back there with the fig tree, and I would play under that fig tree all day long. And man, when I got hungry, I would just eat figs. And bringing that into adulthood, I naturally went to, growing my own, and thankfully went back to the Bronx and was able to get my great grandfather's fig tree. And I currently have that growing now. So that's his legacy is still growing.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Anything else you want to add that you're feeling real passionate about?
We're just coming off of fig tree season, going into cutting season, and it is going to be outrageous. This year, I'm hoping we're going to hit 5,000 active listings per week just for cuttings, just for fig cuttings.
So as you can tell, people are passionate about figs. You might not have known that there's more than one type of fig, but there is a burgeoning community of fig people out there. Figs were one of the first human cultivated fruits, dating back to 5,000 years before Christ. We don't say BCE here. In fact, there are 6 fruits mentioned in the Old and New Testaments: olives, grapes, pomegranates, apples, dates, at least the date palm tree, and figs. So whether you're religious or not, figs are culturally important to the human race because we've been eating them long before most other things. Here's an interesting aside. We recently visited our motherland in former Yugoslavia last year, and we snagged this photo of a weed growing through the concrete. It's a fig. We have pretty useless, noxious weeds here in Florida, like this. This is Kogan grass. Bad stuff. But the old world's weeds are pretty useful. There are a lot of different ways to categorize figs: by color, by fruit size, by tree size, by pollination requirements, and so on. But my favorite way to compare them is by taste profile. You have your sugar figs like the Achia and Violet de Bordeaux. You have your honey figs like Desert King and Celeste, and berry figs like the LSU Purple and Cadota. The skin color doesn't always match the taste profile, but the pulp color usually does. Sugar figs tend to have red pulp, honey figs caramel to maroon, and berry figs yellow to gold. So remember how I told you you've never had a wasp-pollinated fig before? Raw fruit-wise, you probably haven't. But according to my limited internet research, fig Newtons are made with Mission, Adriatic, and Calamurna figs. Now, one of those is not like the others. Calamurna figs are not self-pollinating, so the only way they're going to fruit is by a wasp. So if you've enjoyed a fig Newton in your day, you might have eaten a wasp, but this is hardly a Klaus Schwab eat the bugs situation. You'll be fine. After all, John the Baptist grew up on a diet of locusts and wild honey.